persons having any business before this honourable court now draw nigh and give your attendance, and you shall be heard. God save the Queen.
Admission of lawyers. Javed Timothy Ali.
May it please the court, I move that Javed Timothy Ali be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Javed Timothy Ali be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Ronnie Marwan Allo.
May it please the court, I move that Ronnie Marwan Allo be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Ronnie Marwan Allo be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Melanie Jane Azzo.
May it please the court, I move that Melanie Jane Azzo be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Melanie Jane Azzo be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Christian Bablanian.
May it please the court, I move that Christian Bablanian be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Christian Bablanian be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Matthew Peter Blows.
May it please the court, I move that Matthew Peter Blows be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Matthew Peter Blows be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Zachary Brown.
May it please the court, I move that Zachary Brown be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Zachary Brown be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Matthew Neville Kane.
May it please the court, I move that Matthew Neville Kane be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Matthew Neville Kane be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Monique Chelly.
May it please the court, I move that Monique Chelly be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Monique Shelley be admitted as lawyer of this court.
Yuktoi Chris Chan.
May it please the court, I move that Yuktoi Chris Chan be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Yuktoi Chris Chan be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Joanna Maria Chapko.
May it please the court, I move that Joanna Maria Chapko be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Joanna Maria Chapko be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Jess May Kwan Cheng.
May it please the court, I move that Jess May Kwan Cheng be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Jess May Kwan Cheng be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Lincoln Roy Chrysalu.
May it please the court, I move that Lincoln Roy Chrysalu be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Lincoln Roy Chrysalu be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Shelley Ho Yi Chu.
May it please the court, I move that Shelley Ho Yi Chu be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Shelley Ho Yi Chu be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Sophia Cloak.
May it please the court, I move that Sophia Cloak be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Sophia Cloak be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Jasmine Mariah Collins.
May it please the court, I move that Jasmine Mariah Collins be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Jasmine Mariah Collins be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Jamie Robert DeMeo.
May it please the court, I move that Jamie Robert DeMeo be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Jamie Robert DeMeo be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Gabriel Edwards.
May it please the court, I move that Gabriel Edwards be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Gabriel Edwards be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Joshua David Everett.
May it please the court, I move that Joshua David Everett be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Joshua David Everett be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Ruth Farr.
May it please the court, I move that Ruth Farr be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Ruth Farr be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Sarah Jean Himmelhock.
May it please the court, I move that Sarah Jean Himmelhock be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Sarah Jean Himmelhock be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Rothio Hamado Paradela.
May it please the court, I move that Rothio Hamada Paradella be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Rocio Hamadona Paradella be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Jasmine May Kench.
May it please the court, I move that Jasmine May Kench be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Jasmine May Kench be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Victoria Moonju Kim.
May it please the court, I move that Victoria Moonju Kim be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Victoria Moonju Kim be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Eliza Quang.
May it please the court, I move that Eliza Quang be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Eliza Quang be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Seth Lee.
May it please the court, I move that Seth Lee be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Seth Lee be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Selena Yu Fang Liang.
May it please the court, I move that Selena Yu Fang Liang be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Selena Yu Fang Liang be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Tanya Marie C. Liddycote.
May it please the court, I move that Tanya Marie C. Liddycoat be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Tanya Marie C. Liddycoat be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Caitlin Louise Liu,
May it please the court, I move that Caitlin Louise Liu be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Caitlin Louise Liu be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Alexander John Maguire,
May it please the court, I move that Alexander John Maguire be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Alexander John Maguire be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Emma Grace McQuaid,
May it please the court, I move that Emma Grace McQuaid be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Emma Grace McQuaid be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Carolina Munoz,
May it please the court, I move that Carolina Munoz be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Carolina Munoz be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Kaya Marie Murphy,
May it please the court, I move that Kaya Marie Murphy be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Kaya Marie Murphy be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Caroline Nguyen,
May it please the court, I move that Caroline Nguyen be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Carolyn Ewan be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Josephine Pan,
May it please the court, I move that Josephine Pan be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Josephine Pan be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Patrick Dylan Joseph Prabilski,
May it please the court, I move that Patrick Dylan Joseph Prabilski be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Patrick Dylan Joseph Prabilski be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Madeline Alyssa Quinn,
May it please the court, I move that Madeline Alyssa Quinn be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Madeline Alyssa Quinn be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Venkata Raju,
May it please the court, I move that Venkata Raju be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Venkata Raju be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Priyanka Ram,
May it please the court, I move that Priyanka Ram be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Priyanka Ram be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Elizabeth Anne-Marie Reid,
May it please the court, I move that Elizabeth Anne-Marie Reid be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Elizabeth Anne-Marie Reid be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Ryan Nelson Roberts,
May it please the court, I move that Ryan Nelson Roberts be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Ryan Nelson Roberts be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Verve Katerina Raponen,
May it please the court, I move that Verve Katerina Raponen be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Verve Katerina Raponen be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Gizem Sivriolu,
May it please the court, I move that Gizem Sivriolu be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Gizem Sivriolu be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Mitchell Patrick Spur,
May it please the court, I move that Mitchell Patrick Spur be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Mitchell Patrick Spur be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Tong Tong,
May it please the court, I move that Tong Tong be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Tong Tong be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Amy Ji-Wan Wang,
May it please the court, I move that Amy Zi Yuan Wang be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Amy Si Yuan Wang be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Helen Xingwei,
May it please the court, I move that Helen Xing Wei be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Helen Shin Wei be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Elisa Su Feng Wong,
May it please the court, I move that Elisa Su Feng Wong be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Elisa Su Feng Wong be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Marina Ping Wu,
May it please the court, I move that Marina Ping Wu be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Marina Ping Wu be admitted as a lawyer of this court. Thank you, Registrar. Now that the formal moving of lawyers has ended, I would like to warmly welcome you to this virtual admission ceremony of the Supreme Court of New South Wales. Present with me on the bench today to my right is Justice Bell, who is the President of the Court of Appeal, and to my left Justice Rothman, who is the Judge of the Common Law Division. Together we constitute the court that has, in exercise of its jurisdiction, admitted you to practice. As we gather for this celebration physically dispersed, I would like to begin by recognising the various traditional lands on which we meet. This ceremony is streamed from the Banco Court, which is located on the land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. I acknowledge those traditional custodians and pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. We recognise the long-standing and enduring customs and tradition of Australia's First Nations and acknowledge with deep regret the role our legal system has had in perpetrating many injustices against Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. To all the new lawyers watching today, welcome to the legal profession. This admission ceremony may be different to what you were expecting. These are challenging times when you are unable to be admitted in person. However, your admission, conducted remotely, reflects the agility and adaptability which you will need to possess in an age of great change. This is a time for celebration. You have all worked extremely hard to get to this point through caffeine-fueled nights and obscure problem questions, reading countless wafer-thin pages of textbook and more cases than you can hope to remember. You've entered the world of eggshell skulls, encountered the mysterious reasonable person, and have understood that the Constitution consists of so much more than the vibe of the thing. In becoming a lawyer, you have joined a centuries-old profession with ancient origins. The custom of advocates swearing an admission oath dates back to the 12th century. This court has admitted lawyers to practice, first admitted lawyers to practice in 1824, and by 1830 the names of lawyers were entered onto rolls in this state. You have now become part of this tradition almost 200 years later. Perhaps for some of you, this feels how long that you've been studying. And for many of you, the support of your family and friends during this period would have been invaluable. No doubt, they have also often been on the receiving end of your finely polished skills of argument and persuasion. I do hope you take the time to thank them this evening. The oath or affirmation you made before this ceremony is a serious one and deserves solemn regard. Whether you work in private practice, at the bar, in a community legal centre, or in an entirely different field, you should be known for your honesty, your integrity, and your commitment to justice. It is an acknowledgement of this weighty responsibility that we observe today's unique formalities, including the moving of lawyers, and for that matter, our somewhat unusual choice of fashion. I recall on one occasion, some years ago, a younger member of the audience asked if we were doing Santa photos after the ceremony. I was very sorry to disappoint. However, although we mark this occasion with formality and tradition, not everything in the legal profession remains unchanging. You'll be unsurprised to hear that over the past year and a half, we've had to adapt quite a bit, as you can see today. COVID-19 has meant a rapid shift to the increased use of virtual courtroom setups and technology to ensure access to justice continues in the midst of the pandemic. Things don't always go smoothly, as those with me on the bench can undoubtedly attest to. There have been real difficulties to grapple with in terms of open justice, effective communication, and fairness to participants. And occasionally a lawyer might even get stuck behind a Zoom kitten filter. But for all the challenges we are facing, the impetus is greater than ever before for us to prioritise flexibility and accessibility. Better use of technology and increased working from home arrangements have profound implications for how our legal system interacts with many people, including those in rural and remote areas, those with a disability, medical conditions or carers' responsibilities. As the newest members of the profession, you are at the forefront of innovation in the law and have a unique opportunity to see through changes so that justice is done openly and equitably. There are, of course, other changes that deserve attention. When we think of the diversity of the legal profession, we encounter the duality that we have come very far and that much still needs to be done. Though women were originally not permitted to practice, since 2018, women have made up more than half of all solicitors with a practising certificate in New South Wales and currently make up 63% of solicitors under the age of 30. Women occupy many of the most senior positions in the law, including, of course, the Chief Justice of Australia. However, women continue to face challenges of representation, including amongst judges of this court and, for example, amongst barristers in speaking roles in the High Court of Australia. On the other hand, it is heartening to see that the local court of New South Wales has almost achieved gender parity amongst magistrates, but we must not be complacent about these issues. There are other noticeable diversity concerns that we must face head on. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people and people from diverse cultural background continue to be alarmingly underrepresented in the legal profession, and particularly within the judiciary and the ranks of senior counsel. We must also be alert to barriers to the profession for people from less privileged backgrounds. Law should not be a profession for the wealthy, and the idea that students may be dissuaded from studying law by the cost of a law degree, which this year has again increased, or because of other systemic issues, is troubling. Not just this, but we'll only achieve a truly diverse profession when barriers to advancement are broken down and people from different backgrounds are properly supported in a collegiate and inclusive environment free from harassment and discrimination. These issues are fundamental to a just and transparent legal system and to the legitimacy of the rule of law. We need diverse representation amongst advocates and judges so that all people who become involved in our justice system can be properly heard and fairly engaged with by a system reflective of our broader community. Despite these challenges, there is real scope for change. There is far greater diversity of background amongst junior lawyers compared to those who have been around for as long as me. You are in a unique position as new lawyers who are entering the profession at a time when more than ever your words and actions are having an impact for good. You are being heard and taken seriously when you agitate to correct injustices, whether it be speaking out about unsustainable working cultures, sexual harassment or bullying within the profession, unfair laws, or systemic failings affecting our society's most vulnerable. I urge you to continue to speak up for these things. They do matter. You are the future of the profession and will steer the direction it will take. As a lawyer, you will also need to make difficult ethical decisions at times. With regard to our personal characteristics, lawyers have been the butt of jokes for centuries. Some say, of course, there are only a few lawyer jokes, the rest are true stories. But jokes aside, you must use the tools you have developed to think critically and not compromise on your fundamental duties to the court, the administration of justice, and other ethical duties you must uphold. Now you're lawyers, you can get paid to argue instead of just arguing for free. Of course, there is a lot more to it than that. You're an advisor, a problem solver, a mediator, and an advocate for the marginalised. As you go about your day-to-day work, remember that you're not merely dealing with the law in a vacuum, but law as it applies to people's lives. For this reason, you must strive to deliver legal services competently and fearlessly, with courtesy and integrity. Justice Gageler, before he was a High Court judge, once said, "You must be prepared to give the same answer to the same question for the same reasons, no matter who asks the question or for what purpose or in what context the asking may occur." That is foundational to the rule of law. For those of you who will practice law, the way you communicate information to others will have profound consequences for access to justice. For a non-lawyer, law is often incomprehensible. One of your roles as a lawyer will be to make law accessible to others, sometimes by deciphering legal complexities, other times by deciphering poor legal drafting, and sometimes both. One thing you will regrettably strike throughout your career is legislation which seems carefully crafted with the object of ensuring that no one can understand it. Your task is not just to understand it, but to explain it clearly to those whose rights and interests are affected by it. As lawyers, we must not keep the law locked up as something knowable to us. A client reading your advice should be empowered to understand your meaning, not mystified and confused. So be clear and concise in your writing and speaking. Plain English is powerful. Consider, do I really need to say aforementioned or herewith? Must I sprinkle in that Latin phrase? Should I really use double negatives, tautologies and wordy clauses that take up a whole page? I'd suggest that the answer to those questions is almost invariably no. The best advocates make their point simply and succinctly. Some of the most experienced lawyers and judges, however, could use that reminder, but don't pick up their bad habits. I also want to speak about failure. I would not be surprised if there are quite a few overachievers and perfectionists watching this live stream today. Even so, at various points of your career, you will make mistakes, some minor, some more serious. When you do make mistakes, your commitment to honesty, integrity, and the administration of justice means that you must take responsibility, correct what you can, and learn from those errors. You must fail at times in order to grow. What is important is that you try not to make the same mistake twice. I myself made many mistakes over the years, far too many to remember, although my colleagues are always anxious to remind me of them. But even as Chief Justice, my decisions have on occasions been successfully appealed to the High Court. When that happens, I remind myself through gritted teeth that regardless what I think of the judgment, the High Court, it's not a fiction that the High Court is infallible. But even at times, dissenting judgments of the High Court have become the law. Finally, I want to emphasise that your mental health is extremely important. Now, this might sound unexpected at this type of ceremony, but the law is not everything. There may be times when you feel overwhelmed, burnt out or distressed. If you do, you should not be afraid to seek professional help or take a step back when you need to. Also remember that the law is a collegiate profession, and in times of difficulty, the support of your peers will prove invaluable. I found this out throughout my practicing career. Although you perhaps might find it hard to believe, I was admitted quite a long time ago. I lost my first case, and I lost many more after that. But throughout my 35 years in practice, I could always count on the other barristers on my floor to share my disappointment at the unfairness of the verdict, the sly tactics of opposing counsel, and most often, I regret to say, the obtuseness of the judge or judges before whom I was appearing. I hasten to add, I don't include either of my fellow judges on the bench in that comment. On behalf of all the judges of the Supreme Court, and particularly those sitting with me today, can I once again congratulate you on your admission and welcome you to the legal profession. The Court will now adjourn.